Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck are as alive to me as my parents were, because they always existed. So, and I hate for this to make me sound screwy, but it's like I know Superman is a comic book character, or Spider-Man, but Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck, in my mind's eye, they're alive, because they've always existed. They've existed as long as I've known the world. This box here, stuck under here out of the way, this contains the little private comic books that I created when I was a little kid, back in the 50s and early 60s, to amuse myself. Most kids will start reading comic books when they're, 7 or 8, 9, 10 years old, when they're old enough to be able to read the words and understand the stories. But in my case, I had a sister who was 11 years older than I was when I was born. She still is 11 years older than me. I can never catch up. But so as a result, the moment I was brought home from the hospital, the instant I was brought home from being born, the house was filled with comic books, and especially Donald Duck comic books, which in those 50s in America were the best-selling comic books. So there was plenty of them around the house. So before I could read, I was always, since birth, looking at these comic books. Okay, get some better light in here. This is the box that contains the comic books I did to amuse myself when I was a little kid. These are business ledgers. These are like business diaries of each day of the year. And you can see the year on my father would bring this home to me from the office. 1959, 1958.
I was already 11 or 12 when he was born. So he and I kind of babysat him a lot. And he wasn't a holy terror. He was a good kid. We would go, we were close, but he was still a lot younger than I was. So I was basically going into high school when he was born. So we didn't have a lot of sibling rivalry. He started drawing really early. He used to he liked to do the stick men.
Oh, this is interesting. See, I'm just telling, these stories are so boring. Pluto's going to the store. He said, I will buy something. It's about as interesting as it gets. But this was not plagiarized. I didn't swipe this from Karl Barks. This is my own story, Pluto going to the store. The thing is, I grew up on TV. I did not see these so much as comic books, as sort of, I didn't explain it to myself as a kid. I don't try to, rationalize this stuff. But I saw this as a combination of comic books and television shows. I wanted to also make television shows, but this is as close as I could come to it. But the thing is, I'll tell the story for a while, and okay, there's the end of the story. Then there's a commercial for good orange juice, because I thought entertainment had to have commercials in it. You had to have a commercial before you moved on to the next story. And so I tell that story, and then I have a commercial for beans. And then I'm telling another story here, and after that one, fried chicken. Good. So see, I thought entertainment had to have commercials in it. I'm glad we got rid of that idea. I wasn't too interested in the artwork. I was telling a story. I was never a kid who sat and just doodled. I only drew when I was telling a story, because that was the important thing, not the drawing. I didn't like drawing. That wasn't fun, but telling a story was fun. And so there's, I don't know, 100 or so of these things in here. Sometimes I'd be at school, I'd put them in little notebooks, just a notebook, school notebook. Still the same stick figures. Anything I can find. The very first ones I made out of just construction paper, and probably my mother sewed them together. I have a knowledge and an interest in comic books far beyond my years, because again, I did not grow up with the memories of a kid born in 1951. I grew up with the memories of a kid born 11 years earlier, because I grew up on my sister's old comic books. So my memories are of the comic books from the late 40s onward, whereas anybody else my age would have memories of the comics from about 1960 onwards. So that's why my interest in comic book and comic book storytelling is so intense, is because it's so much of part of my entire life.